Chances are, if you clicked on this video, you play Splitgate and want to improve. Maybe you're dying a lot, or just can't seem to grasp the portaling mechanic. Here are 10 tips to instantly improve in Splitgate. Tip number 1. Always have at least one portal placed. You should start every match of Splitgate with placing at least one portal. The split second you save before a fight can mean life or death. Let's say you get into a fight and you've decided you need to retreat, but you didn't place the initial portal. Now, not only do you have to place one portal, but you also have to place the second one, which may not even be far enough away to escape that fight. Now, let's say you did place the first one. When you go to retreat, all you have to do is turn towards a portal wall and shoot the opposite portal. No moving your aim all over to get 2 portals down, and when you go through, you're more than likely on the other side of the map. Now, sometimes this doesn't work. There may be enemies on the other side, or that initial portal's gotten destroyed. This does happen, but the important thing is to always give yourself that potential to get away and recover quickly. Which brings me to my next tip. Tip number 2. Stay close to portal surfaces. If you're like me, you found yourself in a fight that you weren't going to win, so you ran to the closest portal wall, but before you could reach it, you were killed. I understand that this tip isn't always realistic, and sometimes you are simply forced into the open, but I highly recommend staying near portal surfaces as much as you possibly can. It gives you quick and easy access to move across the map, or get yourself an angle that you couldn't get before. Sometimes you need to travel really far. Maybe the zone is being taken. Maybe the last enemy in takedown isn't close. Maybe you just want to get to the action, or escape an enemy. Whatever the case may be, staying relatively close to a portal wall, or knowing where the nearest one is, can save you time and win you games. Tip number 3, watch enemy portals. A small detail that can be difficult for new players to notice is the blinking enemy portals. As anyone who plays Splitgate knows, you are the only person who can see through your portal. Enemies and other teammates can't. This provides advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, it makes it much easier for you to hide inside your portal and shoot from a safe distance, but you also have no idea what's on the other side of that enemy or even friendly portal. However, there is one way to give yourself a clue as to what's on the other side. Whenever you see an enemy portal, make sure to look for the subtle flash that it gives off. This here means that there is an enemy behind it, and they are most likely looking through to shoot you. Even though you can't see where they are, you still have one more trick up your sleeve: the reticle. It turns red whenever it's on an enemy. So, even though you can't see them, you can still aim at them, and more importantly, hit them. With those 2 things in mind, you'll have a bit more confidence and a higher chance of living when aiming through an enemy portal. Tip number 4 is stay on the ground. Now this one may sound confusing, especially when you consider that you have a jetpack, but the jetpack is only a small movement tool and shouldn't be overused. It's good for crossing small gaps or for saving yourself from falling, even getting that little bit of extra height that you need. But when you use the jetpack, you are making yourself more vulnerable. When in the air, jumping, flying, or falling, your movement is minimal, and it can be very difficult to change direction. With the forward momentum that you have, other players can easily predict your movement path, and it's just a matter of tracing it with the trigger held. This also goes for ramps. In game modes like Split Ball, where your speed is increased, jumping only slows you down and makes you an easier target. Whereas, if you simply run down the ramp, not only do you get to the bottom immediately, but you're quicker to get out of the line of sight and can live longer. Tip number 5, grab the special guns. There are a lot of weapons in Splitgate, ranging from assault rifles to rocket launchers, and even a bat. You can find these weapons scattered across every map and nearly every game mode, save a few. These weapons range from normal ones like the carbine, assault rifle, battle rifle, and pistol, to better ones like the SMG, sniper, and plasma rifle, all the way up to special ones, such as the rocket launcher, railgun, shotgun, and the BFB, or Big Freakin' Bat. These weapons will spawn on the ground and drop from enemies when they die. The normal weapons will glow blue, the better ones will glow purple, and the special ones are colored and glow orange. So if you see one you like, you should definitely pick it up. The right weapon in the right situation can make all the difference. But they aren't automatic win buttons. Each one has its advantages and disadvantages, and you should think carefully before you pick one up just because it's special. You don't want the shotgun if you're fighting longer range in open space. I highly recommend going to the practice range and messing with all the guns to get a feel for them and how they work, what their range is, their damage, etc. It'll give you a high advantage on the battlefield. Tip number 6, portal to get around. When you're playing Splitgate, you need to be using portals to get around. It's the main mechanic of this game, and if you're constantly running around the map, you're going to get outplayed and outran. The best way to get anywhere is to use portals. They change a 10-second sprint into a 1-second movement, which can dynamically change fights and tip the game in your favor. Any player that can master portals will win games. One trick that will greatly increase your portaling speed is to always shoot your destination portal first, and then shoot where you're going. Let me explain. Say you're running towards a wall. You have all the time to shoot a portal onto that wall until you run into it. But when aiming at a wall that is far away, you have until that wall is out of sight, which may not be long. Not to mention, it'll be smaller, and you'll more than likely be moving already, making it much harder to hit. By always shooting your farthest portal first, you give yourself the maximum amount of time to set up your portals, and you'll be more likely to make it through without stopping or being forced to turn around to make that connection. Of course, there's another aspect to portaling, and that's tip number 7, close portals. A very important and underused skill is the ability to close your own portals at will from anywhere on the map. Higher level players will be using this all the time. It allows you to escape without being followed and also prevents you from being shot through your own portals without having to place your second one somewhere else. You don't have to close them every time you travel through, but you definitely should close them if you're trying to escape enemies or stop them from using your portals to easily get somewhere you don't want them to be. By the same token, when you see enemy portals, you should be closing them with your grenades. You don't want enemies to sneak up behind you through a portal you neglected to close. Even if the portal is unconnected, the enemy may be setting something up which could give them the upper hand. Don't let them have it. And don't worry about the portals of someone you just killed. Portals disappear on their own shortly after the player who placed them dies, so those shouldn't cause many problems, if any. Tip number 8, learn different portal techniques. There are several tricks at your disposal when playing, such as anchor portaling, triple portaling, and portal baiting. With anchor portaling, you are placing one portal that doesn't move. You leave it wherever it is, like an anchor, and only change the position of the other portal. This trick helps you to know exactly where one portal is at all times, making it so you can essentially peek out in other parts of the map without leaving your spot. You'll always escape to the same place. It's a good trick for beginners who haven't completely grasped the portal system, and for players who want to poke safely. There are plenty of videos on triple portaling, but to quickly explain, you place 2 portals, travel through the first one just enough that you're through, then fire the first one somewhere else, and go back through the second portal. This can be chained infinitely to get you around fast. While it's tricky to pull off, it is very handy. Now, portal baiting is placing a portal near an enemy that you do not intend to go through. When the enemy sees or hears your portal land near them, so long as they don't know where you are, they will turn to destroy it. That will give you just a second to get a jump on them. This trick is highly situational, but it's good to be looking out for opportunities to use it. Speaking of looking out for opportunities, tip number 9, be aware of your surroundings. It's very easy to become lost and confused when running through portals, but that doesn't mean you have to lose fights whenever you do. The best way to prevent this is to just get familiar with the maps. You'll be much faster to adapt to your new surroundings if you know the maps well. Also, use your minimap and listen for footsteps to locate enemies. Now, these are normal shooter game tips, but it's important to know that enemies on the other side of your portals don't show on the minimap, so you'll have very little idea of how many enemies you might be jumping into. Of course, you can always just step through enough to see who's there, and decide from there if you want to engage or not. As a side note, your footsteps are loud, and can give you away to a player that's listening. If you need to sneak around, try short hopping. Your jetpack doesn't go off, and you're off the ground, so no footsteps. It's a good way to move silently. And finally, tip number 10, take it easy and have fun. Splitgate is a great game with a great community, and I know how easy it is to get super salty at a poorly performed ranked match, or to be crushing another team all game just to have the win pulled out from under you. The key thing to remember is that we're here to have fun and enjoy an amazing game that combines our love of Portal and the shooter genre. A game created by amazing devs who care about the community and work really hard to make the game great. So get out there, show no mercy in game, show no hate in chat. Hope these tips helped. Drop a like if they did, and let me know what tips have helped you guys out in your games. Subscribe for more Splitgate content, and thanks for watching.